This is a Ford 2004 E150 van. I bought this a couple of years ago when I first started filling up. Seems like I'd only get it halfway and would start clicking off. Then just recently, engine light came on and it was code P0442, evap system small leak. And I'm going to get right to the end after all I went through of taking things apart, cleaning things out. I'm going to show you what the easy fix was. Alright, in the back of the van, there's the spare tire. I'm right near the bumper. There's a hose right here. That is a vent hose, and it's coming out of the charcoal canister. Follow it all the way back, right there, and it pulls off. You can just pull it off. And that was one of the last things that I checked. I blew air through it and it wasn't coming out. So then I took a snake, ran a snake through this, and it was a very old spider's nest that was clogging this up. So I cleared it out, put it back together, reset the check engine light, and it fills up fast as on the fastest setting, and the check engine light hasn't come back on. So there's other things that I've done so you don't have to go through this. These are the hoses. Oh, if I get under here. Alright. This is the hose, one of the hoses that leads back to the tank. And I started taking a lot of these hoses apart, and I was trying to vacuum them out versus blowing, because I figured the first thing I read, the reason it wasn't filling up is that this charcoal canister, which is right above the spare tire, sometimes they said this can get clogged up. So the first thing I did is start taking these hoses off, and this is one of the vent solenoids. So I took everything apart, cleaned it all out. This vent solenoid is supposed to be normally in the open position. So I took it apart, blew through it, and it's in the open position. You can also check, you can take this apart and with a small screwdriver, and there's a screen in there. You can check to make sure that's not plugged up. So you can go through taking hoses off the ends, blowing out all the lines. Keep going all the way to the tank. You can take this, I took this hose off here, and I was just, if I knew I wasn't going back towards the tank, I was blowing compressed air through it. Other than that, I was trying to use a vacuum with a little funnel on it. So then, one of the first things that I did was, I thought it was my gas cap. So I replaced the gas cap. That's one of the first things they tell you to do, to replace the gas cap if that evap P0442 code comes on. Let's see if we can get to that. Sorry. Alright. So, it wasn't the gas cap. I put a new gas cap on. Within 25 miles, the code came back on. So then, I took it apart. There's 3 screws on the other side of that. There's a couple of clips, compression clips. So you take all those apart. I actually used a heat gun to soften that big tube up, and then it pulled it off, and then I cleared that out. There's a vent tube, and number 2, I blew air through that, and I also set a vacuum on those 2 hoses to make sure nothing was blowing back through there. So turns out it wasn't that. So what I'm telling you is, the first thing to do is, if you have trouble filling your gas tank when it's clicking off, is check to make sure that vent tube coming out of the charcoal canister going to the back of the van is not plugged up. Another choice is, there is another purge solenoid on the engine that's usually should be in the remain closed position. So that, I didn't get to that point where I checked that out. So hopefully my fix will be as easy as yours without going through all these initial steps. And I'll also buy the code reader off of Amazon. I got one for $22, and I used the Torque Pro app. That was $4.95. So now I can read my codes. Plus, you can go on the internet and see what the possibilities are. And the Torque Pro app, you can use it on your phone. I can't show it right now, but you can use the Torque Pro app to reset the check engine light and also diagnose all the codes and performances. That's it. Hope it works for you.